Despite major advances in medicine, recent data reveals that about 80% of disease targets remain undruggable. Parabilis Medicine, a privately held clinical stage biotech, is trying to change that. Kristen Scholler spoke with Parabilis chairman and CEO, Dr. Mathai Mamen. More about it. Take a listen.
I believe that over the last few decades, there have been such massive innovations in science and technology that now is the moment not to be incrementalist, but rather to be much bolder. We have an ability to change lives with the medicines that we make, and companies like ours at Parabilis Medicines, others, larger companies still, have almost a duty to society to aim really high. The science certainly supports it. The amazing investor community and spirit within the United States certainly supports it. So do it. When I look around, it's not always that way. So I encourage it everywhere I go, just to aim really high. So what that means to me specifically is to aim for medicines that within the set of patients that they're going to be used in, aim for very high effect size, which means they work really, really well. Like, don't aim for medicines that take the edge off something, but rather get towards a dramatic effect. If it's cancer, head towards cure, not incrementally allowing a little bit more an extension of a really, really rough existence, but rather head towards cure. And for the last many years here at Parabilis and prior at Johnson & Johnson, that was exactly the philosophy that we implemented, and we're able to do that with the technology that we have at Parabilis.
Now, in pursuing that philosophy, I do see that one of the company's goals is drugging the undruggable. How are you reaching that?
So what does it mean to drug the undruggable? Well, maybe I'll start with, for all medicines, they're molecules that modulate some aspect of our biology. And there's a lot of biology one may associate with a disease that you want to modulate that way. However, it turns out, and it's not discussed a lot, that perhaps about 80% of all biology, all human biology, is not really accessible by today's medicines. And those are for physics-based reasons. It's not a matter of trying hard, but rather that's the nature of a small molecule oral tablet or an injectable, that they can't access much of biology. Our company has been working on an approach to access those 80%. It cuts across every disease area, from cancer to cardiovascular disease to autoimmune diseases to cardiometabolic diseases. So all of these are encompassed, and literally about 80% of it is undruggable. And what we're doing is we have a technology that I'm happy to discuss that's able to open the doors to all of those kinds of biology, which therefore accesses numerous conditions that otherwise you can't address today. And there are a lot of patients that we feel we can help.
What is that technology that you referenced?
They're called alpha helical peptides. We internally, we call them helicons. What they are short stretches of amino acids, so peptides. You will have heard about peptides in the context of GLP-1, like semaglutide, some of the obesity work. There are other peptides as well. What distinguishes our peptides from all other peptides is they are locked into a particular shape, an alpha helical shape. It's like a corkscrew, and it's held that way such that we can diversify the side chains of those peptides well beyond what might appear naturally. So we can use the full force of small molecule medicine in peptides as a peptide scaffold. And when you do that, you can optimize these structures, these helicons, to gently go inside cells and modulate difficult biology that otherwise would remain unaddressable. And so this helicon technology, it's been an idea that was born from Greg Verdine's lab at Harvard University about 25 years ago. And for about 15 years, it was incubated through academic research, and small problems were addressed all those years. And then it's about 10 years ago that Greg decided that it's mature enough to form a company. And that company, initially called Fog Pharma, now called Parabilis, is the culmination of all that academic thinking And what we did within the company is learn how to translate it. So reduce it to practice beyond an idea, work hard to get it to look like a medicine and behave like a medicine at the right doses and the right selectivity for the biology you want versus anything else. And it's really opened the doors to so many diseases that you just couldn't get to in any other way that I'm aware of.
What is the clinical trial data revealing to you?
So we just started about 2 years ago. We put a compound called a beta-catenin TCF inhibitor into the clinic. So let me tell you about that biology first. Like that biology was first discovered in 1990 by Bert Vogelstein as a kind of a mechanism associated with many kinds of cancer. And that's been known for a long time, since 1990. When I was at previous companies, in fact, my teams really tried hard to drug that target, beta-catenin, and came up short. Like we had no actionable chemical matter to progress into a medicine. So very frustrating, and probably I would guess that every single cancer company in the world has had a go at that particular target, beta-catenin. But it's using our helicon peptide technology, these alpha helical peptides, that we were able to drug this. And so we've constructed the world's first highly selective beta-catenin TCF inhibitor. And that went into human beings, patients in the end of 2023. And now, 2 years later, we're starting to report some really impressive data. There are numerous tumors. Just last week, there's a tumor type called desmoid, which is a relatively rare tumor, but horrible when you have it, in that it grasps wherever it shows up in your body. It grows relentlessly into all surrounding tissue, and it causes all sorts of grief, from pain, dysfunction, bleeding, and really nothing respond. That tumor is refractory to any therapies that we're aware of right now. And so what we've done is show last week in some beautiful clinical trial data an immensely high effect size, so uniform responsiveness of all the patients on this study to our tumor. We have an 83% ORR rate. What that means is after 4 months, 83% of the patients taking this FOG-001 were highly benefited by it. And so that's an amazing result. And in a few days at the triple meeting, the data I just referred to were discussed at the ESMO meeting in Berlin in Europe. And there's a triple meeting coming up shortly where more data will be discussed. And it's really incredible. Like, I'm so excited by it. But there are all sorts of tumors, rare and common, that are responding to our beta-catenin inhibitor. A lot of tumors, again, that have absolutely no therapies associated with them right now. And those patients are really suffering. And common tumors like liver cancer, hepatocellular carcinoma, like colorectal cancer, these are showing good responses to FOG-001. And so we are finding ways, whether through a monotherapy, meaning just FOG-001 used to treat these patients, or in combination with other medicines, where the best of those medicines will be brought forward through those kinds of regimens to treat patients. And the ultimate goal for me is to cure patients with cancer. And let's see how close we can get to doing exactly that.